everyone! Welcome back to Let's Play Great Ace Attorney 2. This is Vita Fuser. In our last episode, we established that the gunshot wasn't really a gunshot. Oh, there you are, now. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Gina. This is take 2. Ugh. Are you sure about what you said in there? But the boss, you know, actually died the day before. It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes, but I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report in question, is it? Yeah, it's strange there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's a simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Oh dear. If it was deliberate, it puts me in mind of the last case we worked on, with Dr. Seeth. I know. Anyway, it seems on the day before Lord Van Zeeks was discovered, his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Redheaded League, so perhaps something happened with him. Come to think of it, you had trouble with those Leaguemen too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taking in, as you put it. My sleuth-hound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income. Whatever you say, dude. And that scent masks the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, aren't they? In Mr. Sholmes' suite, I mean. That's right, Susan. It was me what took him in. Thanks to a tip-off by a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, yours truly. So it's going to be that pair and the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. The day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Redheaded League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating then? Or Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuth-hound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly £4 income as well. Oh. Don't tell me the same breath as you, Sholmes. Yes, well, then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Van Zeeks for some reason. The Reaper, the Redheaded League, Inspector Gregson, Lord Van Zeeks, and Kazuma. What does it all mean? We'll find out. I feel as though he knew we'd arrive at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. The recess will be over very shortly. Yep, you're right. And I gotta make sure my camera doesn't turn off in the middle of a recording session again. Yeah, what is it he hoping that he's making me see, I wonder. We'll find out. Because we're a long way from the end of this trial, that's for damn sure. Are you ready then, Mr. Zato? Yes. Fingers crossed my camera doesn't turn off in the middle of this session again. There. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Barak Van Zeeks, here present, who stands accused of murder. Yeah, because this is a closed court. It's just like the old, the first games. Now then, Prosecutor Sogi. Yes, my lord. Have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the two members of the Redheaded League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men into the courtroom. These two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabian de Rousseau, a descendant of the great de Rousseau family from Nice in France. And my name is Peppino de Rossi. And I like the pasta. I am the third son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility. These two are nobles. Those who graduate from Semsik are the future leaders of Europe. But, do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with the noble blood? Alors, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little grey cells of my brain. That is all I am trying to do. So, that's it. That's the reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying on? Oui, you could say that. Not bad, eh? He has the grand ideals, but the petty plans. It's a strange combination is the charm of the hilarious brothers. That is freaking awful. Seek up. Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you. Che? Are you about to tell me one of your grand anecdotes? Vive! Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Capello. There it is. The capo's drop a card, the furrow brow. It is deep, mon capo, the furrow in the meaning of the words. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Redheaded League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true? Oui, c'est ça. And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you planned to defraud? Alors, I will explain it. No, capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The capo here is many times behind the schoolgirl, trying like the Trevi fountain. Those dogs, one day the world will respect us redheads. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow and weep for the injustice. Che bien, Peppino, enough, I'll explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before this plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yeah, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Redheaded League. Oui, c'est ça. I'm honored that you have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, redheaded hopefuls gathered in droves at the park specified in the advertisement, and from each person present, the pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money to France. It was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like a coaster's orange barrow. And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. Oui, I've seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. See, and now every time I see the couple's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry. The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men had been told of any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. De Rosso and Mr. De Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, we are always ready to help with the law. The man in the photograph. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assemble in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. A couple. No, I don't remember him. Obviously he's dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. Allora, the victim is nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got cut in the first place. You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oui, I'm quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise. It must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. Oof. With his attitude, we get on nowhere, huh? He's really sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Redheaded League, undercover. Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on that day in question, eh? That is ridiculous. There's no question Inspector Gregson was investigating the Redheaded League. Which means it's quite possible that that's when he was killed. Very well, the defense may proceed with cross-examination now. Yes, my lord. Alrighty. Blah, blah, blah. No, I don't remember him, and obviously he's dead now. Alrighty, time to press. But accordingly to what you said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. Oui, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain? That this particular man wasn't present. Normally the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it's just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe we could recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, huh? If there was a man with a red hairpiece, but his mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I would have forgotten him. Kazuma said these two had only been shown that photograph, and they'd been told nothing else at all. But what if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example, his profession. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man that had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective? Is the man in the photograph a detective? Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing. Does it now?
Excuse me.
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi? Jet? See? I'm always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Eh? What did you just say about the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I'm an inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Good Lord! Order! 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 Explain the volte-face in your testimony, witness. It is simple. The man who was at the park said to us that he was an inspector. There was no such man. My die! What are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh? I've forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta! You beat me at many things, but not two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is a faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up.
Objection.
Two houses in the Old Bailey, both alike in dignity and that. Top cut. The damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. There was a man who came to the park and he said he was inspector from Scotland Yard. Investor. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be so sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was clean shaven. His eyes were sadder. His chin was thinner. No resemblance whatsoever then. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you're really a detective, show us the proof. See, the couple here. He doesn't take no nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had an identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord. Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly the papers were fake. Zeta Capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, he takes a thief to recognize another, eh? And what happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said, you're on an investigation. So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. He was fantastico. And look, here's the identification. So you stole it from the man. He added a comment. He made us very scared. I'm not going to sing Chicago with that. But he was not who he said he was. Indeed, the person described does not appear to have been behaved as a proper inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence. But I like them! Well, that's too bad. We need them for evidence. Now, let us return to the witness's testimony. But before we do that, we gotta investigate our new evidence. I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Yep, definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is given? Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what? This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me. But how? And the department identification number details are all correct as well. So when have you known those? Do you mean to say, I know it seems incredible, but yes, I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all. It's real. Alrighty. I know this victim has nothing to do with us. I don't think so. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very carefully. Miss Lestrade. Why Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, counsel? Is this really a fake, or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves. Objection! Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. Howdy! That is the boss's. No question about it. It can't be. As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Redheaded League's enrollment on the day of the question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation. Zitalo! Order! Order! But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on at me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say. Could it be, then, that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically? What are you saying? Unable to... You're not suggesting... Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No! Order! 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 The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Do you have anything to say about that? I know nothing. I done nothing. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can behave a little more like a master criminal than that, no? Now I wish I had returned to Italia. I'm not doing the rest of that. Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, you're gonna make me start crying too. Lame, stop your whining and start talking. Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in considerable greater... I know nothing. I've done nothing. But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. Ugh. Ugh. You will dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances on which you came by them. For crying out loud. The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day. Just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we had him no harm. And the next morning we let him go. We spent the night in a nice room. It was a nothing like prison, really. This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man. But no, see, no. It was not like a prison. It was a very comfortable and a calm and a happy. A couple? It was never part of my plan. I swear it. Ufa. So you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong. By one a little a day. I do not think that was your fault, Peppino. I know it. Oh, I know it. No. Por favor. Come. It's not a fair. You shall have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. Ugh, I don't believe this. How could he have been a real detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination. So, on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. We're going to cover this next time. I'll see you guys in the next part.
Have no doubt, I'm in control. You may think chasing ghosts is